What's going on? It's Alexander here with the start of some Risen. This is actually a game kind of like a while back Arcania. Came out there actually on the same time when Arcania used to be called Gothic.
For longer than humanity remembers, the gods ruled. Humanity served as slaves, but life never remains in balance. Power passed to man, and man banished the gods from the world. But something was released. Something older than man has risen. Given their freedom, humanity must fight for survival. Some cling to safety, others fight. It is a time where a man's choices define him.
But alright, like I was saying, a game that when it came out back in 2008, I played the shit out of it. This is my RPG addiction. I never actually beat it. This is one of those games that I just kind of played a lot, realized I made mistakes in character creation, restarted. So I never actually beat this game. I just played it a lot. I'd get past chapter 1 and be like, oh yeah, I messed up here, here, and here. That's why I'd restart, and I actually already had that again because I've actually recorded about 30 videos of this and was like, I'm not doing this game justice. Come on. This game is rough at the start. You can kill some enemies fairly easy, but they can also kill you fairly easy. And it only gets rougher as time goes on. Unless you, like, build your character just right.
She's still breathing.
Played by any other way, but it's...
Are you okay?
Yeah. But I think I drank half the ocean.
Do you remember much about what happened?
Just that strange man from the Inquisition. And the storm. He sailed us straight into it. And then he vanished. The ship must have capsized and we got washed ashore.
Looks like the poor devils over there weren't as lucky as us.
Any idea where we are?
No. Maybe it's another island.
We should get off this beach. This wreckage could draw looters and they don't like survivors. Good job you're armed. If you're ready, we should make a move. Let's look for a way inland and find some food and fresh water.
I'm ready. Shall we go?
No time like the present. There must be a path somewhere that leads inland. Let's look for one. Careful. I thought I saw something move in the trees. Get ready. Draw your weapon.
Before we get to moving, literally this is our stats going up. Like at starting out. And... no shit. Like, we are literally just some nobody who was a castaway on a ship. Well, stowaway on a ship. And we'll learn more about some people as we go along. See, animals are super rough starting out too.
It must have been attracted by the smell of the bodies. At least we have some meat now. Need a fire or a stove. If I have to eat rat, I'm not eating it raw. And if we can find a pan, we can fry it. Fried meat will help restore our energy. Even if it is just rat. We could really do with a few healing plants too. Perhaps there's some that grow around here. Keep a lookout.
Basically, I will say the reason I messed up is I had points in this despite me mostly only using a staff. I started out wanting to use an axe. I had nothing in alchemy. I had smithing despite it only being good for sword fighting and jewelry. That's more of a late game for just doing it for jewelry. Had these, which these weren't a mistake. I did have these, but that was for the build I was going for. Basically, my main issues was I didn't do certain stats the right way. And my character's fighting was just horrendous. Like, fighting stats were just horrendous. Everything we can get for where we're going.
Do you see those torches? There must be people nearby. Do you think we should head for where the torches are?
And up we go. Before we get into this next fight, let's do a little bit more healing. That's mana, whoops. I want to keep these for later. I do want to see something. Okay, apparently I read that wrong. Because something I wanted to try out on the restart anyway.
Well done.
But certain things are just super useful at the start, others, not so much. Basically, what I found is basically you want to focus on your combat first. If the other ones are useful, combat's more useful to stay alive.
Look out!
Especially with these rats. Because they don't get
Well done.
any less destroy you. Type, they just get rougher and rougher to fight as time goes on. And the hotkey just the back left trigger, and then you put it where you want it to go. I like to use healing and mana on the directional buttons, and our actual abilities on the other side.
Look, it's a house. Looks abandoned. I wonder what happened here.
Something must have driven the occupants away.
Whatever it was, it's certainly not warming me to this place.
Let's take a look around. We might find something useful.
You have a look inside, and I'll keep a watch out here. I'll call if any more of those rats turn up.
Guess you'll go ahead and take this. I do actually have the ambient sounds down quite a bit because the way I usually put the stats, the options. Oh, the rain, and then I just dropped it 10 points. Was literally making my ears feel like they were bleeding. How loud it was when I originally did this. We're gonna go over here and get this going.
Looks good.
There are multiple ways to heal, but passive regen is not one of them. This has no passive regen on health or mana.
Looks good.
I think I'm not sure, but I think you can get a ring, but I may be wrong on that one.
Doesn't look like there's been anyone in this house for a while. All I found was a locked chest.
Unless you have the key or a talent for picking locks, it's going to stay locked.
I've opened the chest.
Find anything useful?
Just a frying pan. Everything else is junk.
Oh well, at least you can fry up that meat. I could do with a little fried meat right now. You're probably starving too, and we can pretend it's venison.
Here's your fried meat.
At least if you don't think about where it came from. Hey, that's not bad.
We should head further inland.
You go on. I really need to rest. That storm took it out of me. I feel exhausted. I'm gonna stay here for a while.
Okay. I'll come back and get you when I know a bit more about this place.
Don't worry about me. Be careful out there. I saw a path to the north. It looked like it led further inland. Maybe there's a village or something up there.
There's our introductory chapter done. Now it's time to start the actual first chapter. And a few things. Oh, I'll tell you, there's two factions. Well, technically three, but two of them work together. Factions you can be a part of. They both have their pros and cons. You do have to save a lot if you don't have to redo a lot. Because this game can and will beat the crap out of you if you're not careful. But the reason I'm gonna go ahead and, like I'm already talking about the factions that you meet. You're not supposed to be aggroed yet. But like I was saying, the the reason I'm talking about the factions already is there's a choice coming up real soon regarding Sarah down there. You have basically two options on where she goes. She basically does the same thing, from what I understand. No matter where who you tell about her, she basically winds up with the same job. But it basically, if you want her to be a part of whatever faction that you join, depends on who you tell. Then you also got to go back, which we will. And I am just going to get in all this whenever I do eventually get alchemy. Because this is one of those games where plus stat buffs actually stay. We do have our first ruin up here. And yes, I will be save scumming for quite a bit of this. Because certain enemies that you don't think are going to be rough, even late game, can kill you if you're not good. And I am not good. Let's go on hill there. Here's our first thing. I actually want to do something real quick. I want to create a separate save. Leave one to the autosave and leave one to main saves. This right here, which is this right there, is a trap. Thing is, we have to go in that trap. This is a very short dungeon. Like, we're literally done with it already. That's how short this dungeon is. I believe I need... Look at that, that's where Min is. I actually had trouble finding that in my certain amounts of that before. Alright. I'm just going to pick up everything we can that we come across. And that sound we're hearing, that's nothing right now. That's a later problem. And not, I mean later, I mean I still have never came across it. And I've entered many ruins and heard that in every single ruin. That was back down, right? We don't have the map yet. Yeah, because that was enter, we want to go this way. I'm not going to mess... Like, if you're good at the fighting in this game, then you should fight literally everything you come across. If you're like me and get comboed by the basics of enemies, it's not a good idea, as you just seen. Especially if you're using staff, because that's the rats and the... Oh god, what one was it? There's one more animal that you can't counter at all. And this is what happens whenever you don't save constantly. I would say it's the boars, but I might be wrong on that one, that you can't counter. And gold is an extremely valuable resource, because all your training of your stats, one of the two requirements is gold. And that gold expense, yeah, I can take a lot of your gold really quick. Like, the ones with 3, like just 3, it'll be about 1,000 gold, like close to 1,000 gold when you train them up all the way. Found that one out the hard way. Like, okay, I can do this, and then I can, I get this training, and then I can continue, and no. Like, I can get better equipment, and it didn't work out. Let's try to get our run back on this rat. Like, swords and I think axes can parry rats. Well, block rats and maybe parry them as well. I never actually tried the parry thing. So I kind of skipped it when I was trained axe up a little bit. Because I had a ring on it, and if you have stat increasing rings, take those suckers off before you do any training until you're paying for that next level. Okay, got some men over here. We just want to get as many of these as possible. Because with certain ones, and 2 or more of certain enemies, you just don't want to screw with right now. Unless you're really good at the game. Well, better than I am, which that's not hard. To be better than I am at this. I love this game, but I am trash at its combat.
Hey, you there. What are you doing here?
Whoa, keep calm. I'm no threat.
I'm the one with the sword, and so I'll decide that. Got it? Let's try again. What are you doing here?
I don't exactly know where I am.
Right now, you're on the wrong end of my sword. Things becoming any clearer yet?
The boat I was on sank. I landed on the beach.
So one of the crew survived the storms, eh? We'd heard it was just the Inquisitor. You don't look like you're with the Inquisition.
I was a stowaway.
On an Inquisition ship? You're lucky they didn't catch you and throw you overboard, or worse, turn you into one of them. Someone or something is looking out for you. And I ain't gonna mess with that. But don't stretch your luck. The White Robes catch you here, you'll be in trouble. If you want my advice, then find yourself a good weapon. You won't get far without one. There may be something around here. Have a look. Come back to me when you found something.
Alright. Basically, he wants to go ahead to take everything here, and I recommend taking everything here. Yeah, but he's one of the Dawnsmen, which is one of the two groups that you can join. They're criminals, straight up criminals. They have some redeeming qualities, but not many, in my opinion. But alright, and we're in this here, though. And in the next one, we'll get our way going through stuff. Until then, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you then.